Alright, today I'll be reviewing something I've wanted to review for a while now, and this is something I've just got to review soon because the Watchmen movie's coming out in less than a month, and I really wanted to review the graphic novel. So here it is. Let me show you. It's just as you can tell, this is the paperback one because they have they're the hardcover one you can get now, but when I got this one, they didn't have the hardcover one out yet. But anyway, so the cover is just, as you can see, kind of like the smiley face logo, but it's kind of like zoomed into one of the eyes, and there's like the blood stain going through, and just Watchmen going across it, and the author and the illustrator, and just Watchmen again going on the side. In the back, just a picture of the author and the illustrator just talking about all the stuff they've done and just all the kind of stuff critics have said about it. Because that's the main thing about Watchmen, this graphic novel, is that, you know, it is a graphic novel. It's formatted like comic book, you know, all the pages, got all those word bubbles and all the drawings and all that, but yet it won so many, you know, it won some awards, like it won the Hugo Award. It's one of Time Magazine's 100 best novels. So it's, critics took this book seriously, even though it was a comic book. Although critics don't take comic book movies seriously, though, like, I don't know, like The Dark Knight, but that's something different. But anyway, but anyway, what Watchmen's about is it takes place in, well, I should say the main events take place in 1985 during this alternate world where heroes exist, and they've been around for a long time, since the 40s. And when I say superheroes, they're just not superheroes, they're just regular heroes, because they're just people dressed up, and they go and they just, fight crime. None of them have superpowers until 1980 or 1970 or whatever year it was when Dr. Manhattan finally came along. But anyway, let me just get back to that. But so the world's changed in 1985 because all these heroes just because people originally liked the heroes in the 40s, but then when the 80s come to the 70s, they passed an act to make all heroes illegal. You could not be a vigilante or a hero unless you worked for the government. So the people just started to hate the heroes at that point. So we come to 1985 where all the heroes are retired except for one, the main character. Well, he's not really the main character, but he's one of them. I'll just say is Rorschach, which I'll find a picture, as you should know, is the one we see in all the trailers that wears the mask with the little ink blots on his face. And yeah, so he's the only one that's still a hero, and he discovers as a plot, as he thinks, to kill all masked heroes, and that's just the basic plot right there. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on in this book, because just another thing about the book is just why the book is so great is because it's multi-layered, as people say, because there's like so many different heroes, and you get each one of their origin stories, and you really know who they are, and you know where they come from, and they do all that in one book. Well, originally it was a 12-part miniseries in the 80s, but now it's all one book, divided into 12 chapters for each issue. But it's just that all that information, all that, you get to know these characters so well, and it all comes from one book. That the author managed to do all that. Another thing too, because like I mentioned, it is divided into 12 chapters for each issue. Another interesting thing is that, like when you open up, you see, it only says, we can't really see, but it only says like page 3, and like 21 here, because each chapter, like I said, is a different issue. So it's like every time you're done with a chapter, the little counter, the little number page, it changes, it goes back to page 1. You go all the way up to chapter, like chapter 1, you go up to page like 30, I think. Then when you go to chapter 2, you start off at page 1, and then, like that. So I don't know the exact number of pages in the book. I think it's like 300. I think it's over 300 pages, but I'm not sure. But this book only took me about a week to read. I got it, and I finished it in a week. I read like a chapter, 1 or 2 chapters a day, and I finished it. But like I said, it's a really great book. Though, if you've ever seen the commercials, you know that the movie is rated R, and the book itself, like I said, this is not something. I mean, it's not a I don't know. It's just not something little kids would read because I mean, well, first off, it's complex and pretty probably maybe boring to them, but also just some of the content in it maybe, for younger kids. Like when I say younger kids, I mean like for example, if a kid were to go to the comic book store, he just finished reading a Spider-Man comic, then he saw this one, I don't think he would read it or want to read it actually. But anyway, you just get my point. I mean, but I mean, it's good though. A lot of people agree that the movie should be rated R because it kind of gets more of the context, gets everything really. Because if they were to lower the rating, probably take out a whole lot of things anyway. But what else to say? So I just don't want to go too much in the story or flip through the book too much because it's a comic book, so you can see pictures. I don't want to spoil anything or anything like that. For people who want to read the book or go see the movie in March, because the movie, so far what we've seen from some pictures and trailers and stuff, the movie looks really good and close to the book. Just some of these pictures and these scenes and stuff look just right out of the book, and some of the lines and just all of it looks really great so far what we've seen, and I really can't wait for the movie in March. And one good thing is though, Fox hasn't got what I'm trying to say. Fox hasn't messed up the movie because they had a recent dispute between Warner Bros. And Fox, which you probably all heard about or whatever. So I'm not really gonna talk about it. I'll be wasting time. So this book, I really do recommend you reading this book. Especially if you want to see the movie, just read this book. So because you'll be just surprised probably how accurate the movie is to the book. I think really it looks just like the book, some of these parts and scenes and stuff, and but I heard there is some things going around on the internet that they did change the ending. I don't want to talk more about that because, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. But really, I won't mind too much if they change the ending, just as long as it's close or whatever, kind of the same meaning as they say. But overall, like I said, Watchmen, a really great book. I do recommend picking it up and reading it. Give it a score. I guess out of 10 or 10 out of 10. It's like I said, it's a really great story. So many different characters, and you know so much about them just in one book. You learn all these characters, the origin story, and everything, and just a lot of great like some great dialogue, like some of the writing and stuff between the characters, and just it's really great. And I just can't think of anything else to say at the moment. But so there's my review of the Watchmen graphic novel. Like I said, I probably didn't give a whole lot of information on it, but like I said, I really just don't want to spoil anything. But basically, it's just a really darker look at heroes, and because a lot of people said The Dark Knight was a really dark superhero film. Just wait till Watchmen comes out. It's gonna really make Dark Knight look a lot less than what it was. It's just like I'm saying. I'm not saying like it's gonna make more money or anything like that. I'm just saying this really is a much darker superhero story than some people think it will be, because everybody says, like I said, everybody thinks Dark Knight was such a dark superhero thing, but like I said, Watchmen will just make people think different about that. So there's my review of the Watchmen graphic novel. I give it a 10 out of 10. I really recommend you reading it before the movie. So there's my review.